Friday English First Additional Language class. As you know, this is a grade 11 class, and today we're doing poetry. As I've been telling you guys all week, I think we started talking about this last week. I'm your presenter, Ayanda Shabalala, and my contact is thebookcitterza@gmail.com. So you guys know that I like to really do fun things on Fridays and Mondays as well, so that the learning just like you look forward to coming to class on Monday because the class was fun on Friday. So as you know, I'll be expecting a lot of engagement. We don't have a lot of people in class today, so we've got Kobe, who's our host, and we really appreciate him. And also thank you so much, guys, for standing by before the lesson started while I was sorting out some technical issues. Hi, Deshan, hi, Dimpo, and hi, Svashi. Hopefully the class will get bigger as we proceed. I just wanted to put the chat bar right here. Here we go. Okay. So, you guys know that we are doing poetry today, and my aim by the end of this lesson is that you guys are able to recognize poetry from a variety of cultures, languages, and historic periods, understand and appreciate poetry as a literary art form, and as well as analyzing the various elements of poetry, such as diction, tone, form, genre, imagery, figures of speech, symbolism, theme, etc. All right. So I'm just going to go through that after I go through the house rules. But I'm sure you guys are quite familiar with them, but we might have some new people. So I just like to reinforce this all the time. First one is respect. As you guys know, always show respect, even in your answers, even in the way that you address each other, right? The other thing is engagement. Engagement is very important in this class. You guys know that you have to attend for you to actually learn things, because I do a lot of class discussions and class exercises. So you guys know the importance of engagement. And the last two are to learn and have fun. I want you guys to learn, and I want you guys to have fun always. Okay, so let's go back to the various elements of poetry, right? So I hope you guys understand what diction means. So diction would speak to the choice of words that the poet uses to convey whatever message the poem is supposed to convey, right? So by diction, that is what they mean. So you always need to look at that, even though they won't ask you that all the time. So that's what I'm going to discuss in the poetry rules. But the other thing is tone. So the attitude you feel in a poem. So sometimes you'll feel like the poem has a sad attitude, or you'll feel like the poem has a violent or an angry attitude or feel to it. You know what I mean? So that would describe the tone. And the form describes the poem's arrangement of sounds. So how sounds are arranged in the poem. I think you guys did sonnets last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys start doing sonnets in grade 10, right? I'm just not, I don't remember properly anymore. And then the other thing that I wanted to discuss was the theme. And the theme is the lesson that the poem teaches you, right? So the message it's giving, rather, because it's not always a lesson, but maybe just an expression of a certain feeling or whatnot, right? The second, the other thing is symbolism. So the meaning conveyed by the poem, and then the imagery, right? So the name given to elements in the poem, And like this also includes like your five senses, right? So anything that you can feel, smell, touch, that is likened in the poem to feeling or whatever that the poet is trying to convey would count off as imagery. So are you guys clear with those points? Oh, are you guys clear with those points? Okay. So the second thing that I wanted us to go through is poetry rules. And you'll see that they are very much like the language and editing rules that I created, right? So always read the given text to understand it and to get an idea of what it is about, right? So that is the first thing that you do when you are given poetry in an exam. You read it during the reading time if you can. If you can't, it shouldn't take you long. If you can't, that's okay. You can read it just before you do it. Sorry about that. And then the other thing would be read the questions. So what did I say in the language and editing text? We read the questions to go back and read the text to see what exactly we should look at in the text, right? So that brings us to our third point. Then go back to reading the text again with the questions in mind, right? And I think I spoke about this. I asked you guys if you're allowed to highlight and whatnot during exams, of which I think most of you said yes, you were, and quite a few of you said you were not. So, yeah. So I hope that is clear and I hope it really helps. We'll also just practice doing this in this class because I've got two texts of poetry that I created for you guys, and I wanted to like see how else you answer poetry questions, right? I wanted to see how capable or at what capacity do you answer poetry questions at, so then I know what we need to work on. So does that make sense? I'm sorry you guys lost me there for a while because I was trying to move the slide. Okay, so this is the first poem. This is text A. You have probably done this poem. If you haven't, you will definitely do it either at the end of this year or sometime next year. It is a very, very popular poem in English literature, especially South African English literature. So you can see the title, My Name. It is by Magoleng Waselepe, right? So the title, and the poem actually begins by saying, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes to read this, and then I'm going to read it, and then we're going to do the answers, and I'm going to do a little class exercise as well, okay? So if you guys have read this, please let me know. If you haven't, please let me know as well. You guys haven't said anything today, so I'm quite worried about that. So if you have read this in class, please tell me. If you have not. Deshan says he hasn't. So yeah, you guys are definitely going to do this one. Like that I can bet on. It's quite a popular one. And I actually did some research amongst my friends to find out if they've also done it. And yeah. But either way, even if you guys don't do it, it's still practice um, for answering poetry texts. Dimple says she has not either. Okay, so what time is it? The time is 11:14. At 11:16, you guys may stop reading. Okay, 11:17, because it just became 11:15 now. So 11:17, you guys may stop. Okay, and your time is up. Okay, so I'm gonna start reading the poem. Okay, so My Name by Mahuleng Wasilepe. Nomgqibelo Ncamsile Nqobisa. Look what they have done to my name, the wonderful name of my great great grandmothers. Nomgqibelo Ncamsile Nqobisa. The burly bureaucrat was surprised. What he heard was music to his ears. What is Daisa Novir? I am from Chief Dalukolo Velukoje of Imampondwe, and my name is Nomgqibelo Ncamsile Nqobisa. Messiah, help me. My name is so simple and yet so meaningful. But to this man, it is trash. He gives me a name convenient enough to answer his whim. I end up being Maria. I, Nomgqibelo Ncamsile Nqobisa. Okay, so any thoughts on the poem, guys? Any thoughts on the poem? How do we know that the speaker is proud of her name? Okay, so Deshan says the speaker refers to the name as wonderful, which is correct. But now, remember what I told you guys about expanding. So the speaker refers to the name as wonderful in line what? Right? So the answer is definitely that she says her name is wonderful. She also mentions that it's part of her culture, right? And it's the name is part of her ancestry. She says that in line 3. Sorry about that, guys. I was just counting which one. In line 3. So she says it's part of her ancestry. Definitely it is wonderful. She says that in line 12. Yes, that it is meaningful. And in line 2, in the same line 3, she actually says it's wonderful, as Deshan says. And it's part of her ancestry. So you would have gotten a mark for either one of those. Is that clear? Okay, and then the other question is, what does the word burly suggest about the bureaucrat? Okay, guys, and please don't Google the word because you won't have Google in your exam. Okay, Deshan says vague and blunt. Anybody else? Guys, please. Wait, Dumela, do you want to try? Okay, guys, so the word burly suggests that he is very big or muscular or sturdy at the very, very at the very, very least, you can say he is fat, but that's not a word we like to use, right? Okay, so then the other question is, explain why the bureaucrat changes the speaker's name to Maria. Guys, I'm gonna need you to really, really try. Explain why the bureaucrat changes the speaker's name to Maria. Dimple, do you want to try? Okay, guys, this looks like it's going to be a very long one. Thank you, Deshan. Deshan says he is not used to speaking her language. Correct. That is a correct answer. Does anyone else want to try? Okay. So the other thing is that he might find the name difficult to pronounce or spell and prefers a shorter name. And he might have just wanted to replace a traditional name with a Christian name. And the other thing is that he is just outright disrespectful, right? Because even if you can't understand, spell, or pronounce someone's name, you don't just give them a different name. Is that correct? You don't just give them a different name because that's disrespectful. You're just belittling their identity, right? So that is how we know that he is disrespecting the woman who is now Maria. Okay, and the other question is, what does the use of the word Messiah suggest about the speaker? What does the use of the word Messiah suggest about the speaker? Guys, what do you know about the word Messiah in general? without the context of the poem, what do you know about the word Messiah? Okay, so Messiah suggests that the speaker is Christian, right? Because Messiah, it's like she's calling for divine intervention. She feels so, she, she, she feels so, thank you, Deshan. Deshan says she's inferior to him. Yes, that's why he changed the name. That's another reason. So she's Christian, calls for divine intervention in her situation because she is so distressed. You know, she doesn't know what to do. All right, she feels powerless. Okay, so does the reference to music suggest that the bureaucrat appreciates the speaker's name? Give a reason for your answer, right? Does the reference to music suggest that the bureaucrat appreciates the speaker's name? So that's in line 6. What he heard was music to his ears. Does she literally mean that he heard music, something that would be pleasurable to his ears? Does it mean that in a literal sense? Guys, work with me here, please. Okay, so the answer is no. It's not in a literal sense because he wouldn't have changed her name. He wouldn't have changed her name if he wouldn't have changed her name if it was music to his ears. So we generally use the term music to my ears when we hear something that delights us, when we hear something that we feel passionate about, right? Then you will say that is music to my ears. But the irony here is that he changed her name. So it was not music to his ears that that her name had so many clicks. For him, it was just a series of sounds without any meaning because he doesn't know what it means. He can't pronounce it or spell it, so it is unrelatable. So the question then asks, does the reference to music suggest that the bureaucrat appreciates the speaker's name? No, it doesn't. So your first mark would be for saying no, because there's no form of appreciation shown by the bureaucrat, right? Okay, so then I've got 3 questions for the group activity, which should take us about, let's say, 5 minutes, or, okay, no, let's make it 10, because I know you guys tend to, we've got quite a bit of some time. This is what I like about poetry. It's very straight to the point. So the first question is going to be identify the figure of speech in line 13. Perfect. Okay, so I've typed that. Identify the figure of speech in line 13. Okay, guys, are you winning? Are you winning with this one so we can move on to the next one? What is the figure of speech? Can anyone give me one figure of speech? You guys can even text me privately if you guys are shy to answer in class. Okay, guys, so the figure of speech in line 13 is a metaphor. What do we know about metaphors? Work with me, guys. So what do we know about metaphors? We know it's a metaphor because how can a name be trash? She says that her name is trash, but we know that in the most literal of senses, a name can never be trash, but it's just a likening to it to show how poorly the bureaucrat considers her name to be. Yes, thank you, Deshan. It has been compared up like, oh, yes. Deshan, you're right. It is being compared. Dimple says directly refers to one thing by mentioning another. Definitely correct. Thank you so much, guys. So I've explained the metaphor in that. The second question is going to be, this is a very easy one, guys. Everyone should answer this one, honestly.
In other words, what she just thought turned her on. But since she's an immature kid who knows absolutely nothing about the pleasures between a man and a woman, she got embarrassed and
I can hear your cartoons.
call me an immature kid. For your information, I'm an adult and I'm much more mature than you.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. I was just I could hear quite a few things. The other question, everyone should answer this one because it's quite easy. I'm expecting. So the answer, the question is, where is this lady from? The lady in the poem. Dimple says Eastern Cape. True. And if you are not a vernacular speaker, how will you know where this lady is from? What would you have what would you have written the answer as if you are not a vernac speaker and the question says, where is this lady from? How do you know where she's from? What would have been your answer? So your answer would have been she is from Chief Dalukolo Velegoje of Emambonwe. So this is, I hope you guys can see my cursor. This is what you guys would write. This is exactly what you would write. I am from, because she does say where she's from, right? And then the other thing is, but then for those who don't know, when you have an exam going forward and you do see this poem, just remember that she's from the Eastern Cape. Okay? The other question is, okay, so in lines 16, okay, let's type this here. In lines 16 to 18, the lines get shorter and shorter. Okay, so the question is, in lines 16 to 18, the lines get shorter and shorter. Explain the use of this. So I'm going to go over lines 16 to 18. So that is, I end up being Maria, I, nomgqibelo ncamisile ngqibhisa. This is a very important question. And this is a question that is very popular. So I hope you guys try it out before we actually run out of time. Okay, guys. So I would say that it's because she feels powerless, right? And the lines keep getting shorter because she feels herself diminishing. She feels herself finishing. Yes, Deshan is correct as well. She is speechless and stunned by his behavior. Yes, that is another way to look at it. Okay. Thank you. Okay, and then we have our poem called Shanty Town. Guys, please quickly tell me if you've done this one. Have you guys done this one? Dombi has done it. Dombi, what can you tell us about this one? So I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to go over this. These are very short lines. So at 11:42, we can start discussing and answering lines that we're able to answer. We might not have enough time, so I might just need to finish this up on Monday. But I hope you guys are reading right now, because at 11:42, I will start doing the questions. I won't even read over this because I think it's quite an easy text. So I'll just start answering the questions. Excuse me. Dombi, do you want to tell us anything about this poem? Okay, guys. The first question is, quote, 8 consecutive words to prove Jabavu is in a remote place, right? So the 8 consecutive words would be, and far from streets and lights and cars, right? So that tells us already that it's in a remote place. The other thing is identify the figure of speech in line 7 and its appropriateness. So that would be personification, how they use coldness to imply human, how the cold is a non-living thing, but is given a human quality to imply that cold comes unexpectedly. Yeah, because cold can't just come unexpectedly. It's not a person. Okay, so what is the only source of light that the people of Jabavu have? That is stars. And then, okay, guys, it looks like we're running out of time. Discuss the tone of stanza 3. That would be hopefulness. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to go over this on Monday again. Or I'm just going to record a separate video for this particular poem. Because I know that you guys are probably either going to do it this year or next year. So yeah. Thank you for coming to the class, and have a good day. I'm really glad that you guys participated, even though the numbers were quite small today, but I'm really happy. Let's see what Dombi has to say. It describes what in Shantytown is like, attack on the apartheid system. Okay. So we're going to discuss this more on Monday. How about that? But other than that, thank you so much, guys. You guys have been so great. And I'll see you guys on Monday. I was hoping that on Monday we do 2 short stories, but because they are short stories, we will definitely go over this again and then do 2 short stories. How about that? And if you guys can just confirm something for me, are you guys working on the Zinam Sope short story? The toilet short story, where she's reading magazines in the toilet. If you guys are doing that one, please confirm that right away so that on Monday I know. Okay, no problem. Okay, bye guys. Thank you so much for attending the class. And thank you for engaging, even though there weren't enough people, but you guys all tried. Thank you so much. Bye.